On this week's show, trick rider and trick roper, Hall of Famer JW Stoker.
That's all today on Ride Smart with Craig Cameron. American Horsemanship.
A Cactus Western saddle is a true work of art that begins with Herman oak leather and it combines the finest craftsmanship and materials available. Each piece is handcrafted by master saddle makers to be functional, authentic, and attractive. Cactus Saddlery, we understand exactly what you expect from your saddle and build it to fit both you and your horse. See the complete line of Cactus saddles at your local Cactus Saddlery dealer or visit them online at cactussaddlery.com. What is it that you really want from a horsemanship clinic? Doesn't matter if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, we're going to work together to exceed your goals as a horse person. Excellent food, lots of fun, and every guest stays right here on the ranch in these 100-year-old log cabins with heat and air conditioning. What's kept us going is we work with you on a personal note, and that's a personal guarantee from me. Come ride with me at the Double Horn Ranch, and you'll have the ride of your life.
Welcome back to Ride Smart with Craig Cameron. American Horsemanship.
I want to welcome you to the show, and it's my privilege to get a chance to talk with a legendary and Hall of Fame cowboy, JW Stoker. JW, you're probably they call you the king of the trick ropers. You've been trick roping, trick riding for how many years now?
I started when I was 10. We won't tell you how many years.
Well, you're still going, and that's what's amazing about it. Again, a lot of guys have learned from you. You are the best. You've been overseas, all across the United States, Act of the Year several times, been to the Olympics. You've done just about all when it comes to trick roping.
You forgot about Bronco Billy.
Oh, yeah, and did Bronco Billy with Clint Eastwood. He's been in the movies. They call him the original electric horseman. Heck, JW, you're just an amazing guy. You know, you're out here showing me how to spin a rope a little bit here.
Just a simple butterfly.
Just a simple butterfly. Let's see
Nothing
what
to it.
I can do here.
It only takes about 10 years of practice.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it over to JW right here. Let's see what he can do. Here you go, JW.
I might show you that I've only practiced 6 years.
All right, here we go. Oh, yeah. Like a true champion, he always makes it look so darn easy. Oh, man, yeah. Well, and that's just a little old trick rope. I just picked it up and just handed it to him right there. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Oh, you still got it going on, JW. Oh, yeah,
right
mighty
there.
pretty stuff right there. But you know what? Right now, we're going to head up to the hacienda. He's got an incredible barrage of pictures up there. We're going to go through them, talk a little bit about JW Stoker, and then after that, we'll talk about horse and horsemanship when it comes to trick roping, trick riding. You won't want to miss it. And that's all coming up next on Ride Smart.
We'll be back with more on Ride Smart with Craig Cameron. American Horsemanship.
Are you concerned about your horse's joints? Euclid has the answer. They make the most complex joint formula available today, Arthroxygen. It has high-strength glucosamine and chondroitin, plus more than 10 dried fruits that provide potent antioxidants. I can tell you that Arthroxygen really works, and your horse will love the taste. For a free sample and 10% off your first purchase of Arthroxygen, log on to jointformula.com or call 800-248-0330 and give promo code CRAIG at checkout. I want to tell you about a product that I wear every day, Dan Post Cowboys Certified Socks. They are on my feet before I jump on any horse that I'm working. The socks stay up all day, cool in the summer, warm in the winter, and made in the USA. Try the Dan Post Cowboy Certified Socks and buy them online at craigcameron.com.
Craig Cameron's American Horsemanship Tour is coming to a town near you. This is true blue American horsemanship. Come see why thousands of horse owners coast to coast have said that Craig is the best in the business. Witness Hall of Fame cowboy Craig Cameron live and learn how you can have that special cowboy connection with your horse that you always wanted. Don't miss Craig's next American Horsemanship Tour stop. Find out more online right now at craigcameron.com.
Welcome back to Ride Smart with Craig Cameron. American Horsemanship.
You know, JW's got so many pictures, and his scrapbooks are just full. He's literally got hundreds and hundreds of pictures. I wanted to show you just a few of them, just to show you how incredible this guy is. JW, this picture here that we're looking at right now, where you're, what maneuver is that? As you're leaping off the horse and spinning the rope at the same time? That old horse standing pretty quiet.
That's what you have, a good horse. That'll make you appreciate one for sure. But it's just a flat loop, and you jump through it. You see guys trick roping and jump through a loop or jump in a loop. It's the same maneuver.
And well, now you got to have pretty good balance to do that on the horse. And like you said, you got to have a good horse. It takes good horsemanship to get that horse to stay put.
When I was a kid, I had a mare one time that when she'd feel your feet leave, she'd take off. And then when you come down, you had to hit the ground. You had a pretty good little fall. But she seemed to enjoy that, I think.
Oh, man. How did you get started trick roping? And you got to tell me a little bit about the pictures that we're looking at right now.
Well, I started out as a brother and sister act. I had belonged, and my sister, my oldest sister, to a group called the Santa Fe Trail Riders in Overland Park, Kansas. At that time, they didn't have the indoor rodeos like they have now. They had Houston and Fort Worth and Denver and some of the bigger ones. And so they needed a wintertime job to trick riders and ropers. And a cowboy by the name of Pinky Barnes thought it'd be a good idea. There was 4 such clubs in the Kansas City area, and it consisted of kids from 6 to 18. They get together on Sundays and do drills and try to spin ropes. And they tried to be cowboys, in other words. So he thought that would be a good job for him to teach them to be real cowboys. Well, I took lessons from him, and I liked it. And at school, at recess, I'd take my rope and practice at recess. I only lived a block from school. I'd run home at lunch and practice. And then one winter, the man that he worked for, Clyde S. Miller, he had a rodeo that put on shows every week. And he had, it was a Wild West show and rodeo. And he had acts out of this world because there wasn't a lot of money, and they really worked hard to have an act, and they wanted to work. And so he wanted to hire me. Well, my folks weren't going to send a 10-year-old kid down the road. So it ended up that he hired my mother and dad and myself and my sisters, the whole family, to go on the road with him. My dad was to drive the truck. My mother was to take care of the clothing and all for us kids and to keep us from fighting too much. And they liked, my dad really liked it. You get to see the country, and at that time when you traveled, you drove 35 miles an hour down the road.
Well, what year did you start? What year were these pictures taken?
1939.
All right, now, JW, you not only did do trick rope and you do trick riding. I know your whole history is a lot of that. You got the Act of the Year in the PRCA. What year was that?
85.
85, and so
again in 86.
Again in 86. Now, in this picture here, where was this taken and what are you doing? That looks pretty treacherous.
That's a trick called the Billy Keene dive. Now, they used to contest trick riding, and they put together toughest tricks they could that nobody else had seen to try to win the contest. And Billy Keene, who later got to be a rodeo clown when he quit trick riding, he invented that trick where you vault backwards on your horse, turn a forward somersault, drag, turn a back somersault to the horse, and if you noticed on that picture, my legs are about crossed. You cross your legs in the air, and that lands you forward in the saddle.
Darn, JW. Must have taken a while to figure that one out right there.
I imagine he worked on it a little bit, I'll bet you.
Oh, Lordy. Here's another horse and another trick right here. What's going on there?
I'm doing a shoulder stand, and I've got a fractured wrist. And it wasn't from trick riding, it's from trying to squeeze through a gate where another horse was. I touched him with the key and he cow kicked me. Cracked my wrist. I've been hurt worse that way than I have trick riding.
Now, JW, I don't know exactly how many years you've been doing this, but what I like is your attitude. You told me you're still going. Now, I got a picture here, and this was actually, I think you're the only cowboy to ever be on a box of Wheaties, Breakfast of Champions. How did that come about, and how old were you?
Well, Miller was putting on a rodeo in Minneapolis, Minnesota, which is a big state fair. And they had a rodeo with it, and his rodeo was super good. And they seen me, I did a headstand on a Shetland pony. And they saw me, General Mills, and they come to me and talked to my folks about signing up for Wheaties. And they signed up, of course, And the whole thing is, when you said you ate Wheaties, they saw to it you ate Wheaties because they sent you those little boxes every month, hundreds of them. And
So you not only endorse them, you dang sure ate them.
when you said you ate them, you proved you ate them.
Well, that's actually dang sure amazing. The only cowboy on the box was Wheaties Breakfast of Champions. Amazing
See, I was
stuff.
12 at that time.
Roping's harder than trick riding.
I can teach somebody to trick ride good enough to work a show in a month.
Wow.
And if they've roped for a year, they'll have all kinds of trouble at the show if they're not careful.
Now here you're roping upside down and roping a horse, roping a couple of horses. That's a tough act right there. That was in Phoenix in '68. Of course, you're really renowned for your trick roping. I know you've taught a lot, some of the best trick ropers today, learned from you, and you know, I've watched you work. I've actually worked with you before. I think I nearly killed you one time when I kept you doing that Texas skip too long. We were about 12,000 feet up there at Copper Mountain. That was pretty tough. So
The air gets kind of thin out there.
I remember that. Now this was taken where? Where was this shot taken?
I believe that was taken in Kansas City. I'm not sure. That's what you call an ocean wave jump through.
Ocean wave.
An ocean
jump
wave's the basic trick for horse catching. I'd jump through the loop, and then I'd catch a girl on a rider when she came by on a horse.
Well, you know, here, I got another shot for you here. Now, this is obviously a publicity shot up at Calgary Stampede. Just took my Extreme Cowboy race up there, and I rode bulls there myself. Now, so you competed at the Calgary Stampede as well. What year was that?
I'm not sure, to be honest, but it's been a while ago, I can say that much. But I was there again in '88 when they had that Calgary Olympics, you know.
That's right, and I know you're wearing a buckle from the Olympics, and that's pretty amazing when a cowboy can win an Olympic medal and a buckle from doing his event, which of course yours is trick roping, and boy, you're just sticking with it. Now, when it comes to trick roping, you're a pretty renowned, you know, guy. You know, Will Rogers was famous for catching horses, but boy, I'll tell you what, that you told me that might be the hardest loop to throw it all, of all. All right, now these horse loops, this is an incredible picture. You're roping 5 horses at once. What makes the horse loop so hard to throw and so hard to perfect?
Well, it's a long rope, for one thing.
How long a rope is it, JW?
It's about 110 foot, but your loop, you know, you got your Honda down quite a ways for the weight to carry it out past the end horse. And the secret is have your end horse a little bit ahead. You can rope him first and the other horses run into it.
Right.
But if you don't have the right riders, it doesn't always work that way. But it's a crowd pleaser. The crowd really likes it, and it's quite a deal just to see 5 riders riding down there abreast.
Oh,
They're running wide open, too.
Now, I know you've done it with more than 5 riders before. You've done it with as many as 6, haven't you?
Sure have.
And where was this picture taken?
I believe it was up in Iowa at a rodeo. I'm not sure which town.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's amazing.
I've been in so many towns, it gets confusing.
Hey, I know what you mean on that deal right there. Let me get another photo in here. All right, here you are standing on the horse. What's going on there?
Okay, you saw that trick where I jumped through the loop a while ago on the horse?
Uh-huh.
I jumped through the loop. The minute I jumped through it, I called the rider, take the ocean wave around, and catch her when she comes by, and that loop's setting out to catch her, and she's running full speed. The secret is you set the rope in front of the horse, and the horse runs into it.
Wow, amazing. You know, I always say the best cowboys always make it look easy, and JW always make it look so dang easy every time. Here's a horse riding through, and it's almost like you're throwing that rope out and bringing it back to you. What kind of loop is that?
That's another old back Spanish, probably.
Back Spanish.
Jump through the loop when you toss it over your head and then flip it back on the horse, if you're lucky.
Well, here you are. I believe this is Memphis, Tennessee, and you're throwing again, I don't know if that's a back Spanish or something. It's amazing to me, all these different loops you have.
That is the back Spanish. You lift it up, take it flat around your horse once, lift it over your head, set it out, and rope your horse and rider when they come by. And it's a real pretty catch, if you do it right.
JW, I know you've worked with a lot of celebrities. Matter of fact, you were one of the stuntmen in Bronco Billy with Clint Eastwood, and here you are with Roy Rogers, everybody's favorite cowboy. A lot of these guys, did they ask you about trick roping or anything like that?
Not too many of them. A few of them did. A lot of them already knew about trick roping. They'd tried it. Especially Roy, because he sure enough was a cowboy, I thought.
Yeah.
And He was great. I was working the Houston Astrodome, and the doctor, he had some heart trouble, told him not to be riding anymore. He walked out to do his show, and he said, it don't feel right. And I had a horse, that trick riding horse named Punkin, that looked a lot like Trigger. So he asked me if he could use him. So I let him use him, of course. You know, I wasn't about to tell him, no, you can't use my horse.
Yeah.
And he used him at about 5 or 6 shows. And then at the last show, he said, JW, I want to pay you. And he gave me a check for more than I could have sold the horse for. So
Is that right?
he's a good guy.
He was a great guy. I think he was just about everybody's hero right there. Let me got a couple more celebrity pictures here. I know you've roped in front of the Queen of England before?
Right, Queen.
The Queen of England. Here you are with Larry Hagman from Dallas right there. He looked like a tall old boy, huh?
Yeah, pretty good sized. I worked at South Fork Ranch a lot, a big convention center when the TV show was on. And they had a Larry Hagman look-alike. And then the first time I went there, they landed the TV crew in the front yard with a helicopter. And this was taking another party. And he was just a good guy. He'd come visit with you, and he liked horses.
And just about anybody that rodeo is going to know this next cowboy. You're right in the saddle, carrying the flags with old Casey Tibbs right there.
Exactly. He was something now. He was my buddy. I knew him from the time he was 17. Wow. My folks used to say, man, he's going to be a champion someday. We was at rodeo in Strong City, Kansas. He won the wild horse race, the saddle bronc riding, the bareback riding one afternoon. And I thought, and he was 17 years old. And then he went on to get famous from there.
Yeah, he did. Well, I'll tell you what, both of you did pretty darn good. That's amazing stuff. Well, JW, obviously you got so many darn stories and so many great photos. I could just sit here and look at them all day, just scrapbook after scrapbook. But heck, let's go out there and check out a few of your horses, talk about horse and horsemanship, and maybe how you get a horse ready for some tricks and some trick rope and what have you. And that's all coming up next on Ride Smart.
We'll be back with more on Ride Smart with Craig Cameron, American Horsemanship.
Tag tip for today, your Craig Cameron 50-foot horse handling lariat rope. You know, if you've ever seen me do a colt starting anywhere from road to the horse or on my videos or at an expo, you see me use this 50-foot rope a lot. Why a 50-foot rope? Usually I'm in a 50-foot pen, and of course when you rope a horse, they're going to move out. Gives you plenty of room to work with when you got 50 foot, because most ropes are traditionally 30 to 35. This rope is also extra soft, and it's got what we call a horse handling Honda right here. That way that thing slips loose. Right here you can always get it on, get it off, and put that all-important release in your work that those horses are looking for. Well, this is a great rope, and you can use it in lots of different ways. If you need to know how, buy my Ride Smart book or check out a Craig Cameron video. But for most horsemen, a good horse handling rope is a must. Don't forget, you can order it online at craigcameron.com.
Welcome back to Ride Smart with Craig Cameron, American Horsemanship.
Welcome back. And JW, a lot of what you do revolves around horses, and you got to have a good horse. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for color, I'm looking for size, and I'm looking for speed.
Speed, you got to have that speed.
I got to have
for
speed for trick riding. I don't have to have it for roping, but I need it for trick riding.
Now, how young do you like to start these horses, if you can?
I start them when they're about 2 at least.
And just start easy.
Easy.
Yeah.
Get them broke good. Then show them you're not going to hurt them. Let them carry your weight different ways where they don't panic when you're off to the side.
Yeah, yeah.
And just go on from there.
You know, I know you helped design a lot of these trick saddles. This is a trick saddle here. As you can see, it's quite a bit different than a regular saddle. What do you call this? Does this horn have a particular name?
It's just a trick saddle horn. It's about 6 inches. You get a good hold on it when you're jumping from side to side, turning somersaults or whatever you're doing.
And you use these handles here a lot for your
Same thing,
hands.
riding upside down, turning somersaults again, doing backflips, the whole deal.
Now, I know you teach a lot of people to do this. A lot of people that are some of the best today that you taught them. You start easy, you start slow, I guess. But boy, I guess you got to have some athletic talent to do this.
You got to have some talent. You got to have some nerves.
Got to have some nerve.
It takes some nerve too. It's kind of
that's-
hard to turn the back somersault off of a horse when you're going 35 miles an hour the other way.
I know that takes some guts. Now this horse is Romeo. He's a stud horse.
Right.
Now this horse can bow. He does quite a bit of stuff
Come
for
on,
you.
give us a little bow, Romeo. Come on,
Now use your stick a lot of time.
cue him.
Cue these
Oh.
horses. Get those horses to
There you
bow
go.
down.
See, they're after that grass more than anything.
Yeah, yeah. Now your other horse over here, Blanco, right here. We'll bring Blanco in right here, and let's take
Here, let me
Romeo
get
out of
through.
there.
Okay, Blanco, can you get up here?
We'll let Blanco step up. All
Whoa,
right.
watch your feet now. Whoa.
Okay.
Okay, come on up. Atta boy. Good horse.
All right, that's nice. Now, how long does a trick like that take?
It just depends on the horse. You got to prove to them they're not going to get hurt.
Right, absolutely.
And it's known as the end of the trail.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna keep working on my rope tricks there, JW.
Okay, Blanco, show him how to spin the rope.
He can dang sure do it better than me, I guarantee you.
Okay, that's pretty good, Blanco. Got
Oh,
a
he's
kink
got
in
it
it, same
going
as
on
you.
now.
Got the same kink. Okay, that's good, buddy.
All right, well, JW, that was a lot of fun right there.
Enjoyed it for sure.
Well, listen, you're an inspiration to me. You're an inspiration to a lot of people. And hey, listen, just like a lot of people I know, hey, we love seeing you out there still doing your thing. You are the real deal cowboy. Hey, we love having you around here. Blanco, good work. Thank you, JW.
You can tell I don't like horses, can't you? You tell how, hey, look how hard it is to get them to work.
Hey, listen, you guys. Hey, it's been a privilege and a pleasure to be with one of the best horsemen around here today, JW Stoker. You guys keep riding like a champion. We'll see you next week on Ride Smart. We'll see you next time on Ride Smart.